Hi everyone, this is Andrea Leigh, Vice President of Strategy and Insights at Ideoclick, and I'm coming at you today to talk about margin guarantees. This is the question of the week. We have been getting a lot of questions from clients about margin guarantees. Amazon has put some of them out in proposals to some of our clients, and I wanted to share with you how we're thinking about them and how you might think about them too. So first of all, what is a margin guarantee? It's providing Amazon with a guaranteed amount of funding to hit a target PPM. So if they, for example, say they need to hit a 50 net PPM or PPM on your products, and they have to price match that makes them fall short of that, you would owe them the difference. So it's kind of like a true up co-op agreement. And it protects them against any price matching they need to do for your products. So first, a few questions to ask yourself when you're considering one of these agreements. Assessing your level of risk will include understanding how clean your channel is. So are your products really widely distributed and heavily price matched, or are they, typically less price matched, and maybe you have a trusted list of resellers and retailers that are pretty select that you work with? What is the pricing stability of your products? That's going to help you figure out what your risk factor is for these. Obviously, Amazon's probably putting it forward as a potential negotiated term because they think they have a lot of risk. And then what's the structure of the agreement? Is it a true up at the end of the quarter? Do you owe them money? Is it off invoice? Just kind of understanding a little bit around the details will help you figure out, what the costs are going to be, and then also how likely it is they'll be able to renegotiate this term with you kind of in future quarters and years. So why would you sign up for one of these? Sounds crazy, right? Amazon has put these forward to some of our clients potentially in exchange for accepting cost increases. So if you're trying to push some cost increases through to Amazon that aren't heavily documented or entirely tariff driven, you're typically going to be looking at, an opportunity for them to bring forward a margin guarantee. So it'll get them off, reasons, that Amazon wants to do these. They guarantee their margin. So you might do it if you need to get Amazon off your back for crap funding for the rest of the year to get your cost increases through, like I said. Another reason might be so you can continue uninterrupted participation in Amazon advertising and still show up at the top of search results. Probably everyone's seen the articles this week about how Amazon's considering profit as a key factor in deciding the order in which to return products in search, and search is everything. And then the other reason you might do it, or it might make sense, is if you have some projects in the works that will help stabilize pricing, and so it's kind of a short-term problem. So your exposure could be known or calculated, and it is acceptable to you. But that being said, there's a ton of risks, and I think the risks in general outweigh the benefits. First of all, it's just a variable exposure, so you don't know what it's going to cost you until it starts costing it, and you could owe. It's basically like writing Amazon a blank check. They can price match to whatever degree they'd like, and you will always fund the difference. I think another risk is that they'll renegotiate it next year. Now you have another term kind of on the table that's up for negotiation with Amazon. But I think the biggest risk is because you can still market the products and they'll still show up high in search and be in automation and personalization, you could potentially be driving a disproportionate number of sales to products that are economically lower margin for you because you're paying a margin guarantee. So it's kind of the same reason that we don't think crap allowances are a great idea, because you're essentially going to grow the part of your business that's lower margin for you, or potentially negative margin for you. So the bottom line, I generally think these are a pretty bad idea. If you can avoid them, that's great. If Amazon's putting a lot of pressure on you for crap funding, I think kind of the better paths are to think about how you can potentially uncrap your items. So what are some of the ways you can bundle them or get those price points up? Looking at some IMAP policies, restricting the list of sellers that you sell to. Or if none of those options are available to you, potentially crapping out your own products and just deciding that you're not going to sell them on Amazon anymore because they're, too much of a risk from a negotiations perspective. So there you have it, margin guarantees. Feel free to reach out to us at Ideoclick if you have any questions.